You are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a funny. Come on, Peter Tinkle. Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What up? What up?
Yes, welcome to an all-new Nerdz II Men. I am Brad Reed.
I'm your boy Cameo. Long time no talk, people. How you doing?
It has been a while.
Yes, it has.
We've done a few things. We'll talk about it all. It's going to be a loosey-goosey show today. We're going to talk about a couple TV shows.
All right.
That are on the tops of our mind. We're going to maybe give out some recommendations. We don't really have,
if you're lucky.
Yeah, we don't really have many reviews to do today. That'll change soon, though.
Although we could, it's just I had gotten COVID, so that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
So I was kind of quarantined to my bedroom, and all my podcast stuff was in my guest room / office area. So yeah, it's been crazy over at the Cameo household.
Yes, the Cameo Castle.
I wish it was a castle.
Nobody knows. You could just say it, and everybody be like, "Ooh, Cameo lives in a castle."
I do.
They're gonna already be like, "Go ahead."
Castle de Cameo.
Castle de la Cameo.
There you go.
They're already gonna be like, "Wow, he's look at his new mic. He's upgraded."
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not new. We just finally since we don't do the shows in the same rooms together, it's been years and years now, which is funny.
But see, the cool thing is it's portable. So
yeah,
yeah. When we do shows together,
do.
good thing I wore my brown pants.
There you go.
Yeah, so it'd be easy just to be like, oh, here we go, let's go.
Man, I was watching a show the other day. I can't remember because that's one of the reasons. Like, we're just gonna kind of, like I say, it's a free for all on this show. We're just gonna talk about whatever. But I was watching a show the other day. Just going back to our open there, and somebody was like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And I can't remember which show it was, but I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
The funny thing too is that for some odd reason, it's coming around social media again, is where I'm about to say Bruce Willis, not Bruce Willis. Michael Keaton was doing a one of those college speeches.
Like a keynote speech or like a
for like a graduation.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what school it was, but he was like, if you take anything away from my speech today, I got 2 words for you. I'm Batman. Like,
nice.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even care what he had to say other than I'm Batman. That was it. That's all I needed.
Yeah,
and,
that was dope.
Whether I, followed my career choice after, with my degree or not. If I started to work at Chick-fil-A as a manager, I'm okay with that because I heard Michael Keaton say, I'm Batman.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, though, in this time that we've been away, which, you told everybody you got sick. So luckily, I'm knocking on the woods. I have not had COVID ever. And then, but it's like everybody who didn't have it just recently got it. It seems like because all the kids are going back to school and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm glad you made it through. I'm glad that COVID is now at a point where it's a little less, deadly. But let's not talk too much about COVID or else YouTube will be like,
right.
F you on this show. But no, back to Batman. Well, I was just going to say, we've been gone a little while. I quit my job. I didn't quit it. Things happened, but I'm no longer working there, And so, we just kind of been in a little bit of a time here. A little, maybe some might call it a funk. I don't know. But we're back to podcasting. We're going to do it hopefully weekly because what else do we got to do? But in the time that we were gone, the DCEU fell apart. Like
Man.
worse than it already was, because Shazam, totally looking forward to that movie. It gets pushed back to next year. Aquaman 2 pushed back to next year. And I'm sure Amber Turd is out, right? That's already been made official.
That's the last I've heard. So
I've heard that she's going to get replaced, not just taken out. So,
I know a lot of people were thinking Amelia Clark.
Are we talking about Game of Thrones?
Yes,
that's who I had heard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who I had heard.
Hopefully that happens, because that would be amazing. But again, you never know. Because because how the director was saying that there was like no real chemistry between Momoa and Heard.
Yeah.
But Amelia Clark and Jason Momoa worked a season or two together on Game of Thrones. So, and their chemistry was great. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her take up the mantle.
She's pretty good. I liked her. I liked her in the Terminator movie that they made.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about her being in that.
Yeah, I thought she did good as a young what was it? Not Linda O'Connor. Linda Connor? No, was it?
I can't remember.
John Connor and then his mom. Who knows? Anyway, my head is still. I'm lightheaded still. Everybody. But no, I thought she did good. I've liked her, and of course, I thought she was great in Game of Thrones. Hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
To touch the hiney.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yes, you can say it. No, but the big thing, like one of the biggest news stories was like the Batgirl movie. It was finished.
Yeah.
Done.
And
now it's really finished and done. Like they're not gonna release it. I am mad about it because I would like to see it. I would like to see it, even if everybody said, and like I've heard from industry insiders that it's no good. They did the right thing, I guess, by canceling it, but I want to see it.
Whether it's good or bad, let the fans see it. Like, especially, when the actors put everything in it, and you didn't get just like some lame actors to do it.
Right.
So you had Michael Keaton, you had Brendan Fraser. I can't remember her name, but she was in Washington Heights, the musical. You had J.K. Simmons in it. So it's not like.
And it was coming out on HBO Max.
Right. Who cares if it was that good or that bad?
Well,
if it was horrible, if it is horrible, then so be it. It was on HBO Max.
Yeah, right.
If it was good, then it was good, and the fans got to see a really good DC movie. So, and Michael Keaton was in it.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right.
Come on.
That's why I want to see it.
And I did read that that Michael Keaton and Brendan Fraser said, they're pretty disappointed that it's not coming out. But, it's not like they're, fighting for it to come out or anything that I've read. So, it is what it is.
Well, Brendan Fraser's got like the world at his fingertips right now. He's in that new movie Whale that everybody's going on and on about, which I can't wait to see it too, because I like Darren Aronofsky. I believe it's a Darren Aronofsky movie. But
okay.
He's weird, he did he's done all kinds of weird movies that some of them I really like, some of them I didn't like so much, but I still like his style. So
yeah.
But yeah, that getting canceled, like I almost think the DCEU, like, because everybody was talking about Ben Affleck's going to be in Aquaman. Maybe not dressed up as Batman, maybe just as Bruce Wayne, but I don't believe that. Because they were saying him and Henry Cavill. I don't think Henry Cavill's coming back. I don't think you're going to see him as Superman anymore.
Probably not. But would I like to see them maybe one last time?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I would like to see it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think, you saw the thing where HBO Max, some of the executives said that they wish they had never even done the Snyder Cut because, according to them, giving the fans what they want is a bad thing. But I mean, I guess I could kind of see what they're saying, because now they feel like they're kind of obligated to keep the DCEU going. When we've talked about it, I would love for Snyder to get more time to do stuff, right? But there's not an infinite budget available. We can see this because they're cutting all this stuff. Did you know that the Cape Crusader, the animated show that's kind of like the sequel or whatever to Batman the Animated Series back in the day, this Cape Crusader that was coming up on HBO Max canceled. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I was so disappointed. I was told that today by a mutual friend of ours, which I won't tell you who it was, because, little plug here, we're going to have a nerd trivia show coming up, and we have a couple special guests that I know, of course, and you know these people, but you don't know who it is, which I think is going to be really fun. So, but one of those people today was telling me that, and I just like, I didn't realize that, and I'm so mad at HBO Max. I honestly don't think HBO Max, when we are doing a show next September 18th, around then, I don't think there will be an HBO Max as we know it right now.
Probably not.
Because they merged with Discovery, and apparently like a bunch of Looney Tunes movies got cut, like just they just went in and axed a bunch of stuff. Now,
wow,
could be that, like when we've been in radio, every time the radio station gets sold, they start axing talent, cutting budgets. So maybe they were just trying to, cut down the budgets, and they'll pick up some of these projects going forward. But as of right now, I mean, it's all up in the air. And as a fan of the DC movies, of the, Batman and stuff, because even the Batman, they were saying, is there going to be a sequel now? We don't know. Go ahead.
I would be upset if there wasn't one, because of how amazing it was. But if there wasn't, then so be it.
Here's the thing.
It seems like, the only real people out there is Marvel.
Yeah.
And I say that, and not because I'm a Marvel fan or anything like that. It seems like they got their stuff together. It seems like, whoever's ahead over Disney is trusting Kevin Feige to do whatever he wants. But it seems like there's Joe Schmo over here, Joe Schmeck over here, Linda Shishash over here. They're not collaborating the way that they should be.
So
I feel like
you're saying they need like a cohesive plan, and it needs to start from like one person. Let's say we'll say Greg Berlanti, since they were, or Jim Lee, whoever. I mean, I'm just saying that because he's been thrown out.
Right.
Oh,
so
Berlanti though. Oh no.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to get something done, make one person head over everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, because I don't know if it's Disney letting, Kevin do whatever he wants because of how successful they were before Disney took over. I'm not sure. But I also feel like Warner Brothers, they have all of this money that they just want to, throw out. Obviously, for instance, the Batgirl movie, $90 million down the drain.
Well, not technically. The reason that they're not showing it is because they're going to write it off.
Well, they still spent $90 million.
Well, yeah. You are right. You are right.
For nothing. So It's just like, I want this, but I'm going to shelve it for life.
Yeah.
It's like when people buy, like I buy action figures. And I like to take them out of the box. And, I like to, pose them up every now and then. Other people, and that's their prerogative. Other people leave them in the boxes. I get more out of, posing them. Some people get more out of, leaving them in the boxes and, shelving them. And that's totally fine. But the thing is, Marvel has been, whether they have some, not so good projects that have came out and some that'll probably come out in the future. The thing is, it's going to get done regardless. It is going to get shown because they put their time and money into it, because I feel like Disney and Marvel care about the people that put their time into it. Warner Brothers, I don't think they do. I don't think they care. And just like you said, they wish that they would have never, done the Snyderverse or done the Snyder cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, you gave us a horrible movie in the Justice League, the first one. Like, nobody liked that one. It was cool, but Snyderverse was 1,000 times better. So, or the Snyder cut, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the Marvel stuff real quick. And we'll throw She-Hulk in there too. Like, some people are not happy, especially with She-Hulk.
And they are dumb. They are dumb.
Well, I'm not going to say that.
I am.
No, I'm not. I'm not, though, because if you just don't like it, that's fine. That's fine. It is kind of, it's kind of not your typical Marvel show anyway. Mm-hmm. It's more kind of like akin to like that DC show where they were all working in the office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, Victor Avery, Victor, he's a friend of ours and watches the Nerdz II Men stuff. I saw him posting on another page. Shame on you, Victor. No, but he was likening the Marvel, the MCU now, like phases. What are we in now? 4?
4, yeah.
Like phases 1, 2, and 3 were the golden era, and he says that now they're kind of in an era of like those were the feasts, and now we're getting like the fast food era. Mm-hmm. And I kind of agree. I kind of don't think that he's wrong on that, because they're throwing so much at you.
Right.
That's the problem. We had movies that weren't coming out for a couple of years. Now there's a couple Marvel movies a year. There's 3 shows. Mm-hmm. Now, if you just don't like She-Hulk based on it, it's a girl, then yeah, you're stupid. Well,
and see, and I feel like the people. I'll let you finish. Go.
Well, if you don't like it because it doesn't come off as your typical comic book type show where, there's not like a lot of action or whatever. There's a little bit, but it's more funny, and it's just a little less serious. And if you just don't like it because of that, I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but you can't say that it's not a good show at all. It's funny. It does have action in it. If you're coming to see action, like you said, then I guess, this show isn't for you. No. But it's still good. It's and I know a lot of people I've seen on YouTube bash it because they're like, oh, she's too provocative. She was, she's
too
breaking
provocative.
The fourth wall. Yeah.
Isn't that what she did in the comics?
Yes. And these are the same people that don't read the comics. Now, I don't know much about She-Hulk, but I will say this. What Marvel character, any superhero character, Marvel, DC, IDW, Dark Horse, that a female character isn't some type of eye candy for the reader? Tell me, and I'm sure there are some, but all the ones that I've read are, very chesty, something very tight, and something very skimpy. And although we haven't seen that yet on She-Hulk's TV show, which I don't think will get something too skimpy, but I mean, that was kind of her whole thing in the comics. So it's just like, if you don't like that, then you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what I was going to say is she gets a new suit next week, I guess. Cause if you spoiler alert, right. That's not a huge spoiler though, but
her dying is,
I haven't seen any of her being too provocative. Like, I saw people were getting up in arms that her and Megan Thee Stallion were twerking, and I was like, it's an after scene where I thought it was funny.
That was the best scene in the whole series.
I thought it was funny. I thought, and like, yes. This is my I'll quote the Joker here, which isn't appropriate for the MCU, but why so serious? Like,
right.
You've got, if you want serious, you've got Captain America and Winter Soldier, go watch that. Or Loki's not but Loki, all of these other shows, you've got something for everybody. If you don't like She-Hulk, I didn't not like Miss Marvel. I just haven't watched it yet because I was never into Miss Marvel. But I mean, I'll probably watch it. It got picked up for another season and everybody says it's good. I just haven't watched it yet.
I liked it.
But there's something for everybody, I feel like. And like, so when She-Hulk comes along, people, I don't know. Like I said, yes, there's not a budget. There's not enough budget for everything. So if you're hoping for Howard the Duck and you get She-Hulk, you might be disappointed, I guess.
Right.
I haven't seen anything wrong with She-Hulk. I will tell you this. When it was announced, and the run up to the show, I wasn't excited. I just like She-Hulk attorney at law. Yeah. That sounds stupid. But it's hilarious. I love it. And again, it just comes back to me, you don't have to take everything so serious.
You really don't. And again, I mean, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but we've said it multiple times. If you don't like something, so be it. Yeah. Like, get over it. It's out. What are you going to do?
Not watch it. Don't watch it.
That's all you can do is not watch it.
Yeah.
But see, I think we live in an era right now where people have to be heard.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, I understand you want to, vent and talk about your frustrations and all of this stuff. And that's okay.
Hold on. I don't know why. So I guess Zoom now, it doesn't matter. Like, if you don't pay for it, you get to only do it for 30 minutes at a time.
Oh, that's dumb.
So just go back a little bit. You were saying everybody has to be heard.
Yeah. So, everybody has to be heard, and that's fine.
Yeah. Get a podcast if you want to be heard.
Right. But don't. I mean, I'm sick of all these keyboard warriors, and it's okay if you don't like something. Just shut up and keep it moving. Go rewatch the Infinity Saga if you don't want to keep up what's going on with She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel or Loki. But the thing is, there's a lot to choose from. So, I mean, just go about your business and stop, trying to get people on your side. Cause I like it. I'm not telling people to, go watch it. Actually, I am because I like it.
I've been telling everybody just check it out.
But I'm not going to say, oh, well, you're stupid for not watching it because,
you just did actually. Let me rewind a few. No. Actually, what you said was if you watch it and you don't like it, you're stupid. No. The thing is if you make an honest opinion on it and you watched it and it's not based on, I just don't like that they made it a girl, dude,
Yeah. Or tell me that you don't like She-Hulk as a comic book character. That's fine.
But I didn't care about She-Hulk as a comic book character, not at all.
But you still watched it though.
Yeah, and I loved it. I was like, this is great. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to retract what I said, but
Well,
but I really think that, you know, people just need, because I've never heard anybody say that they didn't like the show because they didn't like the character.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
And if somebody said that, I'll be like, okay. But everybody is pulling out, oh, well, it's a girl. It's a female-led show.
Awful, terrible.
She's too provocative.
Oh my! Even if she was provocative, that's so bad. That's so terrible. Like, come on.
You know, She-Hulk doesn't twerk. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the argument is.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
I've enjoyed it. I thought the first couple episodes where they had the Hulk in it was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I love the line, "I'm not even the same guy as I was back then."
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Yeah. Like, there's some cool stuff in this show. And like I say, if you can not take it too serious and get that stick out of your bum,
right,
I think you'll enjoy it.
You'll be in for a good ride. Like, I mean, it's like you said in the beginning, it's not your typical Marvel show.
Yeah.
Or a Marvel movie, really. Yeah. It's like a watered down version of Deadpool, because her and Deadpool are almost kind of the exact same style of character. You know, they break the fourth wall. They're always cracking jokes.
Yeah, they're irreverent. That's what the show. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't compare it to. Yeah, there's some similarities to Deadpool, but as much as there's similarities to Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris used to break the fourth wall too.
Right.
So I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't compare it, if you haven't watched it, like literally too much to Deadpool, but again, irreverent. It's not supposed to be taken that serious. So
right.
And when they made a serious Deadpool in the Wolverine movie, wasn't that good?
Right. It wasn't.
So, okay, let's move on to some other nonsense. And we do have a timer going before we have to take a quick break here. So 5.5 minutes. But let's move on to another little subject here that kind of in the same vein as some of the criticisms for She-Hulk. Now, you were telling me there was a D23 and you want to talk about it. I thought for a second that was the 23rd sequel to The Mighty Ducks.
Man,
and I was like, oh my gosh, like they had the TV show. Now they've got 20 other movies. Like, I don't know about that, but that's not what you were talking about.
No. Yeah, D23 is like the Disney Expo, talking anything and everything that's Disney, what's coming out in the future, what's happening at the Disney parks, action figures, movies, show, all of that. Anything Disney related, it was talked about at D23 Expo. Was it last weekend? Yeah, last weekend. But yeah, so, huge news, trailers from, Secret Invasion. There was like a secret showing of the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There was, there was a whole bunch of Marvel stuff. But what really caught my eye was the Little Mermaid teaser. Halle Bailey, a singer that was picked up by Beyonce, her and her sister Chloe.
Which, if you watch
Grownish.
Grownish, yes.
Yeah, you can see them, Chloe and Halle, on that show. Little Mermaid, the animated version was, a white-skinned mermaid with red hair. Now we have a black skin mermaid with red hair. So everybody up in arms about a fictional. That's fictional.
That's to me the biggest point of it.
Fictional character mermaids aren't real. I mean, if you want to believe mermaids are real, that's totally fine.
Even if you're going to say that it's like from a, what's the word? Not fairy tale, but but like folklore that came from a white race or whatever, Norwegians or whoever. So what? It's not like she is the former king of Norway and a historical person. We're talking about fiction. Like I've seen a couple memes that some friends of mine actually put out, and I was kind of astonished because I was like, you really care? Because it was like, oh, well, what if we have Mel Gibson play Martin Luther King? Or what if we have a white girl play Pocahontas? And I'm like, that would all be wrong because Martin Luther King was not white and neither was Pocahontas. And if you're trying to if you're trying to tell these people's real story, their race plays into that. Martin Luther King, if he was born a white man, most people probably wouldn't know who he was. Just because of what Martin Luther King ended up doing, his race had something to do with that. You see what I'm saying? Pocahontas' story had something to do with her being Native American.
Right.
A mermaid, the color of her skin has absolutely nothing to do with her story. It doesn't
because she's
inform
fake.
Her story. Yes.
And the thing is, too, there has been many white people that portrayed many of different races.
Sure.
Jesus. Huh?
I said Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Blonde hair, blue eye guy. Yeah. No. But the thing is, Anthony Hopkins has done it. Angelina Jolie has done it. There has been many people. Joseph Fiennes was about to play a black man by the name of Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like Michael Jackson, that doesn't make any sense. Like his story, Michael Jackson, who he was, his story is that of a black man. If it's a made up character, whatever, I don't care. Right. But if it's, go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Well, let's just say they're going to make a movie about George Bush Jr., a white man. I would prefer a white man play him.
And there would be nothing wrong with that. There would be absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But it goes the same with any historical figure. And again, like people that are like, oh, 007 has to be white. No, he doesn't. His story isn't based on his skin color or his race. It doesn't inform his story. But and often in a lot of these historical, Pocahontas or Martin Luther King, I just thought that was so ridiculous. The meme, so stupid. Like you really should be able to logically come up with this on your own without me or Cameo telling you. But Martin Luther King can't be played by a white guy. It just can't happen. That's whitewashing.
Right. And
it's history. You're trying to you're at that point. Yeah, you could make a movie and whatever. But if you're trying to be historically accurate or whatever, you can't do that.
Right. And like it makes me upset that, because there's a lot of people that do that. Everybody be upset if, we, like you said, we got Mel Gibson to play Martin Luther King. You're darn right we'd be upset. Because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, like what sense would that even make?
Was black.
Yeah, what sense would it even make? It wouldn't make any sense.
The thing is, I don't really want to go too down far in a rabbit hole, but Ariel is a fictional character. I don't care if it was based on Norwegian fairy tale, folklore, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, Gods of Egypt, that movie was nothing but white people as the gods of Egypt. Nothing but white people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go back to Shakespeare, right? Mm-hmm. You have a bunch of guys playing a bunch of guys and girls, right?
Right.
Okay. That was back then. It's 2022 now. We have women actors. We have black actors. We have actors of all sorts, right? All colors, all genders, all. So just, there's enough that we can make sure that if it's a historical figure, we find somebody that is, representative of that person and their race and all that. It just is what it is. If you're making a movie about Zeus and you make him black, Asian, whatever, who cares? You see what I'm saying?
I'll go back to the whole Zeus thing. That's Greek mythology. So get a Greek actor to play him.
I guess, but to me, it's all made up anyway.
Well, I mean, exactly. Like I totally understand that. That's fine. But if everybody's going to like you said, there's an actor in every race or whatever. So that's fine. Get a Greek actor to play Zeus. Get Denzel Washington to play Zeus. That stuff again doesn't matter. People are all up in arms about oh my goodness, Giancarlo Esposito playing Charles Xavier. Oh well, he's a white guy. No, he's fake.
Yeah.
And if you really understood or knew what X-Men was based off of,
he actually makes more sense.
It would.
We dropped out for a second, but we're back. Cameo. So we were just talking about the madness of this whole deal with the Little Mermaid and kind of some of the, the outrage that's being put out there by people who think that somehow this character is being taken away from because it's not a redheaded white chick. And to me, like it just comes down to, everything that we've said, it really just comes down to this. If you're not looking at a historical figure like me, I want somebody, if you're playing me, I want them to be, mixed native and German and Irish. That I don't know. That's who I am. So if you're playing me, that's what I would like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're looking at a mermaid, yeah, because it affects your story. It affects my story. I'm sure your race affects your story a little bit.
Yep.
But it doesn't tell the whole story. But still, But if it's a mermaid, I just think, man, that's ridiculous. There's a lot more things in this world to be worried about. And it's not taking away from anybody. It's not. You still have the Little Mermaid and whatever came before that version of that cartoon. Mm-hmm. You have all that stuff. Right. I remember back in the day, people would tell me, they would be like, oh man, white people don't have a BET. Could you imagine if we had a BET? I'm like, yeah, it's called ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, UPN.
WB
up until a point. I mean, things are different now, but back in the day when I was younger, there was a lot of white people on everything. It was what it was. And things are different now. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And
if you're watching this or listening, it's going to be okay.
Right. And the sad thing is it's like people our age complaining about it. Yeah. These little kids, it's not for us.
They don't care.
It's not for us. Like grown adults are complaining about a black mermaid, a being that's not real.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So again, like Brad said, it's going to be okay.
It is. And we're
stop being racist.
We're complaining about people complaining, so I guess we're just as bad. But
no,
it doesn't seem like we should have to explain this logic. It seems like you should be able to figure this out on your own, people.
And you know what? We might need to stop because stop talking about when it comes to racial things, because I don't think that it's going to ever be understood in this lifetime. Because one, there's so many people with so much hatred over stupid stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's
this
the thing
is one of them.
Is I'm not, and you know, we have talked about it a little bit. I don't want to preach to people on our show or make them feel bad for thinking a certain way or this or that. But this is our opinion on the matter. And we're in pretty much agreement, I would say 100%. And we are hoping that those of you who might be, you know, like a friend of mine who put out that meme, maybe now he'll listen to us and think, oh, well, okay, like that's different, I guess, you know, that maybe they hadn't considered that. But I feel like most people are able to consider these and understand the differences. And it kind of makes me almost just want to quit. Like, I don't want to podcast. I don't want to do nothing in a world where people care about the skin tone of a mermaid. That's where we live right now. That's, you know, but again, let's put it into perspective. You might see a couple posts like that, but I think the general majority of the public is like, I don't care. I gotta figure out how I'm paying rent or paying for my kids' braces, or, you know, I feel like that's the general consensus out there. It's just the people on the internet tend to be the loudest. Right.
And, you know, a lot of people aren't, you know, talking about it like, you know, we are. I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that are obviously in defense for, you know, Halle Bailey and her playing it. I mean, even the director was like, you know, the moment she sang, you know, that was it for me.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing he was worried about is because she wasn't a seasoned actor. And that was it. You know, that was the only thing that he wasn't for sure, that if she could, you know, carry the weight of this huge fictional character.
Is it fictitious or fictional?
I don't know. I'm saying fictional. If somebody wants to argue with me on it, that's fine too.
I'm actually the one who's arguing with you.
It's probably fictitious, but you know, the thing is, this person is fake.
You're right, though. The overall point you're trying to make is still true, fictional or fictitious.
I think you're right. Yeah. It is fictitious.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach.
Right. And you know, and I'm not mad at you for correcting me. Yeah. That's the
well,
thing.
If I let you keep saying it, I would be a bad friend, producer, all of that. No, but you know what the thing is, and I don't even like, I feel like, yes, I kind of am inclined to be like, you're stupid for having that opinion if you're really that worried about what color a mermaid is. But I don't want to be that way, because I want people to be like, you know what, maybe I was wrong for thinking that, and now I'm going to expand, you know, or truth be told, people are allowed their own opinions anyway. So if you're wrong, you're wrong, whatever. But I don't. That's
the thing too.
I want people to be able to conversate though and grow, because that's
converse.
Yeah. Get out of here, Cammy. I want people to converse and grow, because there's going to be things too where like somebody might point out something to me where I'm like, didn't consider that, and then I'll go from there, right? But I feel like this is basic. This is basic stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, like, I agree with you to a certain extent, but if you're bringing race into something, on something that's not a real subject, you're dumb.
Well, we're gonna wrap up this, but I do want to say, because we could keep going, we could talk about this forever. It's a matter of I feel like the average person who's complaining about this doesn't actually care about the mermaid, but what they do care is about like their perception that like being white is bad, or you know, their little Confederate flags. They're taking down their statue. Like there's all this other stuff, and they're channeling it into a mermaid. You see what I'm saying? And it's stupid.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, it is what it is.
I'm just saying.
It's the world that we live in, and
let's grow up. Let's grow together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's all grow up. Let's all grow together. Let's make this a world where we don't fight over those kinds of stupid stuff. Then we probably won't fight over other stuff either.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's all I got to say. That's all I want to say. If you want to wrap it up, though, if you have something more to say, I'm cool with that.
I've already wrapped it up. It's
wrapped it up, Cameo. Not wrapped it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done with it.
All right. So let's talk about House of the Dragon.
Yes.
We're technically, okay, by the time people see this, we're recording it on a Sunday afternoon. Episode 5 will be out tonight. But there's 4 episodes, and I will say this. I feel like this show hit the ground running. And of course, it's a sequel show, so that it should. But I feel like it hit the ground running a lot better than Game of Thrones did. And the reason I say that is when everybody started telling me about Game of Thrones, it was seasons in before I actually watched it. And then I binge watched it one week when I was off work. That was when I was at the broadcasting school, and we got like a week off in the summer and a week off at winter. And so I binge watched all of them. And I was like, man, these first couple episodes, I don't really think is all that great. Like, I don't know why everybody loves it. And then I got hooked.
Yeah.
I feel like this one
was the same way with me.
I feel like this one, though, has the benefit of, it's following on another series, even though it's a prequel. I feel like it's, I don't know, something about the story, whatever. I like it a lot. However, this last episode made me 4. Uncomfortable.
Yes.
And we won't spoil on this one. We won't spoil this whole show. We're not going to spoil her on this one. But I will tell you that when what happened, it made sense to the story, sometimes better than what used to happen in Game of Thrones. Because you can see how this is going to change a few things for the story going forward.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, man, I kind of figured this was going to happen. And I'm sad that it did, because it made me like, ugh, I felt
You're right.
Like maybe I should fast forward.
I did. Yeah. I couldn't.
Yeah. So other than that, though, I think the action is really good. I really like the guy who used to be Doctor Who in this show.
Damon.
Damon, yeah.
That character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, man, I recognize that guy, but I don't know who he is, but he's like a badass in this show.
Yeah. He's actually the villain in Morbius, too.
That's right. He is.
Yeah.
Which is now on Netflix. Yeah, I watched Morbius one day when I was at work, when I had the other job. And I didn't pay that much attention to it, and I didn't think it was all that great. But yeah, I really think, I really think the House of the Dragon is pretty dope so far. 4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishing that we got this first. Now I don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know, if it's going to, drag in the very last season. But I mean, I agree with you. I was hooked from Jump Street. I know a lot of people said the first episode was slow, and I agree to a certain extent, but it kept my attention. Like, it took me 2 or 3 different times for Game of Thrones to finish the first season.
Yeah.
I think it was the last 3 or 4 episodes of season 1 in Game of Thrones for me to be like, oh, okay, I'll finish watching it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, House of the Dragon, love it. Damon, his character is, Damon is the character. Damon is amazing. I think he's carrying the show.
Yeah, he is.
For a lot of it.
What's the girl's name? Rhaenyra or?
Rhaenyra, Rhaenyra or something like that.
I think just like is it Emilia Clarke or Emil Clarke?
Amelia.
I think she's going to be kind of like the breakout star too, where she goes on to do other stuff too.
Yeah.
This one, maybe it's just because this one's more focused on one family instead of like 5. I don't know. I don't know why
Maybe.
I like it a little better. I just thought it just is good from get go, like you said. So
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it. Other than, so I will just say, the fact that these girls are like 18 and up, like she's 22 actually. She looks a lot younger than her age. But the fact that they're playing 14 to 16-year-olds is creepy when they do stuff, like people know about Game of Thrones. They know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It makes me feel creepy seeing that. You know what I mean? Like, I know she's not really 15 or 16, but
Yeah.
her character is like, Then my wife is like, well, back then, 16, that was the thing. And I'm like,
I mean,
it's 2022 though.
True.
It's 2022
Right.
though, Jen, and I'm surprised you're saying that.
I mean, there is no lie.
ain't
There is
lying.
no lie.
But
So, I mean, I wouldn't do it.
yeah,
I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
So,
like yeah, they, like when I'm talking to my mom likes Game of Thrones, but she fast forwards through all that stuff too.
yeah.
But like my grandma, I'm like, nah, don't watch that, grandma. You will not want to watch that.
You won't like that. You won't like that, Grandma.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add about House of the Dragon? We'll go into a little more depth, like at the season finale or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So a few things, like there was a couple of shows I've been watching lately. We'll give us some recommendations before we get out of here. Our Nerdflix and chill. One that I told you about. Did you ever watch The Resort on Peacock?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
You gave me your info. I just haven't signed in yet.
Okay, so Nick Offerman is one of the stars of this, and it's. I told you to watch it. It kind of reminded me of like Lost, in a way, but only because there's like a little sci-fi involved in it. But I gotta tell you, Cam, I loved it until the very last episode, and the very last episode, I was like, "This is stupid."
Oh no!
So
I don't think I'm gonna watch it then.
I feel like it's hard for me to tell you to watch it because the last episode disappointed me. And then there's a show which seems very much the same, but I don't guess there's like a sci-fi element. And my mom was watching it on HBO Max, and so I started watching a couple episodes. It's called The White Lotus. Steve Zahn is in it.
I saw that. I wanted to check it out.
It's okay, but like I was telling my wife, like, this is okay, but I don't really know what the point of it is. Like, I don't really just want to watch a show about people on vacation. Like, I want to go on vacation. I don't want to watch people
I
on
don't want to watch other people.
Yeah, so there's that. So
It is what it is.
yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna stick with House of the Dragon as my rec.
Okay.
Unless you're watching it with them kids.
Yeah, don't watch it with the kids.
Then maybe watch Pinocchio or something like that.
Yeah. That was actually a pretty good movie.
I dug it. There was a few things that they kind of cut out from the cartoon and added to the movie. And I think that's okay. Kind of going back to The Little Mermaid. Like, I have seen the original Pinocchio cartoon 1 billion times since I was a kid. So it's okay to have something a little different.
Yeah.
Because if I need to see that, I can go back and watch it.
Yeah.
So, but I did enjoy the Pinocchio movie. I really did. I thought
me too.
So funny that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was Jiminy Cricket. Because I was like, I couldn't figure it out the whole time. I was like, who is this? So I looked it up.
Yeah, I had to do it too. I was like, man, whose voice is that?
Yeah.
And I think it was like maybe the first like 20 minutes of the film. I was like, okay, I got to look. I got to check to see who this is.
Now, when you were young, because some people were saying even the movie kind of scared their kids. Did you think like back, like, because I did too, back when, back in the day, the cartoon, like when they get to the island where they're drinking the beer and smoking, like they didn't do this in the movie, but they were smoking the cigarettes or cigars or whatever, and they start turning into donkey. That scared me. Like when I was a kid, I was like, that's kind of terrifying.
I can't remember. I can't remember if that
these little were-donkeys.
Right.
Plus, I was like, man, I said a bad word the other day. Am I going to turn into a were-donkey?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So any recommendations on your end?
Yes, The Woman King, starring Viola Davis and Lashana Lynch.
Yeah.
Who is Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel. Yeah. Very, very good. Based on, true people. I don't know about true people, but like true events. Now, I know there's a lot of people going into this movie or before seeing this movie saying that it's not historically accurate, and saying that the tribe did this and this, but what they're saying doesn't apply to this movie. So don't go into this movie thinking that you're going to get a history lesson. But it is a historically a historic fiction film. I don't know if that's how you say it.
Based on true events.
Based on true events, not yeah. Other than that whole aspect, the movie was awesome.
Yeah.
The action was great. The actors were great. I love Viola Davis. Anything that she's ever been in that I've seen, she was amazing.
Yeah.
My wife was telling me that this movie took 7 years to make.
Damn.
Yeah. So, all you can tell that there was hard work put into this film. So like I said, don't go into this movie. And if you know about the Dahomey tribe and what they stood for, that's great that you know that, but that doesn't get touched on in this film. So don't think, oh, well, they did this wrong. Oh, they did that right. Whatever. I know a lot of people had, like I said at the beginning of me talking about The Woman King, a lot of people were upset because it wasn't historically accurate, and it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
But The Woman King came out this weekend. So definitely go check it out. My wife has seen it twice already.
Nice.
So yeah, it is very, very, very empowering. Especially I would say especially for women, because it's basically based on a women warrior not mindset, but follows the women warriors of the Dahomey tribe. So yeah, it's great. And a little tidbit here that the Dora Milaje is loosely based on the Dahomey. I think it's Agoge, which are the Dahomey women warriors. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because, obviously, sounds kind of familiar. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll check it out. Go ahead.
You'll like it for sure. You will definitely like it.
I kind of lied earlier when I told you we weren't going to talk about the Little Mermaid thing anymore. I want to bring up one more point.
Okay.
Because, like I was saying with historical figures and stuff. How sometimes, like Martin Luther King, his story isn't going to make sense if you put a white man in there. Same thing with the Elvis. Hold on. Crap. It's the same thing with the Elvis movie that I just watched, right? Because a lot of the controversy with Elvis when he first came out was his music kind of sounded like the black music that was coming out of Memphis and stuff like that. And he was dancing. If you made that a black man, it wouldn't make any sense because then everybody wouldn't have taken any notice. They'd have been like, oh,
right.
So that's where
and he wouldn't have been that big
yeah.
either. So
that's where like sometimes it's not that we should only see skin color or skin tone. It's just that sometimes that does inform the story, whereas other times in The Little Mermaid, it don't.
Right.
Or doesn't, if you really want to be correct. So yeah, I just wanted to slip that in there.
Okay. Hey, that works. I mean, I
because
totally
it
agree.
goes both ways. It's like, you know what I'm saying? We're not just saying this because it's a black woman, yada yada yada. It goes both ways. Like if it's a historical figure, it's probably not going to make much sense if you don't.
Right.
Okay. So, any other recommendations before we get out of here?
No, that's it. I really stand behind The Woman King. So definitely go check that out.
All right, that sounds really good to me. And
don't forget to like and subscribe because we are going to start doing these shows weekly. And you don't want to miss out on the nerd trivia.
Yes, that's coming up soon. I believe I found us a location.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
All right,
Cameo.
But,
I got some videotapes to return.
All right, to Blockbuster.
Yes.
Well, they're out of business, so.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. But anyways, keep it nerdy.
Smile and put on a happy face.
Wakanda forever!
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
That was awesome!
Freeze all motor functions.